Power doesn't shout. It waits and lets the world crawl toward it. You chase approval. They engineer desire. You explain your worth. They prove it in silence. You throw yourself into saving the drowning. They build islands and charge rent for rescue. The difference between the powerful and the powerless isn't luck. It's architecture. How you hunt, how you act, who you allow to infect your circle. In this video, you'll learn 3 silent weapons of control. How to command the hunt, so people chase you. How to obliterate doubt, so results do the talking. How to quarantine the cursed before their decay becomes yours. Before we begin, hit subscribe, not to support the channel, but to train the muscle of strategy every single day. And in the comments, write this: I choose silence over noise, because that's where power begins. Law 1. Command the hunt. Make them come to you. Control isn't taken. It's engineered. Power is not for the frantic. Power is for the patient predator. You do not chase. You set the snare. You wait. They move. Exactly where you planned. Lay the trap. Watch them stumble in. The one who moves first tells the world what he wants. That first move is weakness in costume. When you rush to speak, to prove, to persuade, you bleed intentions. You spill desire like cheap wine. In the arena of power, that is death. You charge forward. You send the first message. You beg for meetings. You pitch before anyone asks. You become a predictable machine. That's how weakness masquerades as ambition. It scurries. It talks too much. It flashes its hand. Think of the salesman who stalks his lead. The client smells need and lowers the bid. Think of the promotion seeker who lobbies and begs. They look ridiculous. They look small. You waste energy trying to push outcomes. Masters of influence do not push. They build a frame that forces others into motion. Machiavelli knew it. Lead men by the nose. Not with threats, not with orders, with temptation. Push and men resist. Pull and they surrender. A cunning prince never smashes the gates. He puts a feast on the lawn and waits. One bite and the battlefield belongs to him. This is raw power. Control without the humiliation of pursuit. You see it everywhere. The luxury house that refuses discounts and still sells out. They did not chase customers. They engineered desire. Only 100 pieces left. Scarcity, allure. People line up for status, not utility. The firm that posts by invitation only. Suddenly, everyone begs to enter. Exclusivity is not cruelty. It is leverage. Even in love, the rule holds. The one who withdraws a little, who leaves the silence, becomes gravity. Curiosity curdles into obsession. The chaser looks foolish. The waiter holds authority. Not manipulation. Magnetism. Executed with restraint. Problem diagnosis. With contempt. You think being frantic is hustle. Pathetic. You think giving more proves worth. Pathetic. You think noise equals action. Childish. Desperation smells like cheap perfume. It repels. Those who cannot wait reveal themselves as shallow, needy, small. They are the useful fools of the world. They hand you power on a platter if you have the patience to take it. How to use it? Brutally simple. Step 1. Show a prize, something that flatters ego or feeds greed, a deal, a seat, recognition. It must stroke their vanity. Step 2. Make it scarce and conditional, a narrow window, limited tier. Scarcity blinds reason. It makes fools behave like predators. Step 3. Let them expend the energy. Let them call. Let them propose. Let them climb into the trap. Every pursuit binds them tighter. Step 4. Strike when they are anchored, when they've invested emotionally, financially, reputationally. You set the terms. They are no longer free. They are committed. Real-world plays sharpened.
Hey guys, we're Strategy, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep, breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
A founder leaks a whisper. Investor circling. Within days, rivals who ignored him knock on his door. He did not chase capital, he created gravity. A politician vanishes before an election. No rallies, no chatter. Then one speech. The silence made it thunder. A consultant mentions a waiting list, casually. Clients scramble to secure a slot that may never have been real. Bait wrapped in prestige. A friend goes quiet for weeks. When they return, their time becomes costly. Absence magnifies presence. But beware, bait without backbone is poison. If your prize is hollow, your scarcity fake, trust evaporates. Power built on flimsy smoke collapses the moment the curtain falls. The aim is not cheap manipulation. It is mastery of timing and perception. You make others want what serves you. They walk into your plan thinking it was their choice. That illusion is your real victory. Linking inner mastery to outer domination. Discipline the self and you steal the will of others. Patience is not passivity. It is a weapon you cultivate inside. When you master silence, others act. When they act, you command the scene. Internal restraint becomes public leverage. Markets bend, committees concede, lovers orbit. Dominate your impulses, dominate outcomes. The world yields to those who wait with intention. Remember, he who chases plays on your opponent's terms. He who waits rewrites the rules. Be the trap. Make them come to you. Control doesn't begin when you move. It begins when they decide to move. For you. Law. 2. Obliterate doubt. Make results do the killing. Words provoke resistance. Deeds secure obedience. Action creates fact. Argument creates enemies. You can shout about what you will do, defend your worth, and lecture on your brilliance. Or you can produce something that leaves mouths closed and calendars stamped. Every additional word invites opposition. Every argument bruises an ego. No one forgives the person who made them feel small. So they nurse the wound. They remember the slight. They wait. Arguments do not win people. They win silence. Silence hides resentment. Resentment waits. It undermines. It eats at you from behind the curtain. You think persuasion is power. You believe logic can bend feeling. You believe reason will dismantle pride. Laughable. People do not follow syllogisms. They follow momentum. They do not remember your speech. They remember what you proved. One manager fills meetings with charts, rationales, euphemisms. The room nods politely. 3 months later, nothing has changed. Nobody remembers the speech. They remember the absence of results. Another manager moves in the dark. She executes. 3 months later, her department doubles output. Now the room listens, not because she argued, because she delivered. Power is never won by being right. It is won by being undeniable. Problem diagnosis. With contempt, you love to debate because it's safe. Talking is theater for the timid. You confuse volume for value. Pathetic. You seek validation in applause, not in outcomes. Cowardly. You parade reasons like talismans, hoping logic will do your fighting. Foolish. Those who argue while others act are the world's permanent bench warmers. They are noisy, thin-skinned, and irrelevant. Let them chatter. They mark their own obsolescence. Machiavelli cut through this. A prince is judged by effect, not by excuses. Words are pliable. They can be twisted, misread, dismissed. Results stand like stone. The crowd does not worship eloquence. It worships evidence. Look around. The entrepreneur who debates product market fit for months dies in theory. The founder who quietly ships and lands 10 paying customers ends debate in one invoice. The referee hagglers lose games. The athlete who trains in silence wins the season and buries dissent. The employee who composes essays about his value sounds desperate. The one who brings a major client and balanced books posts proof in black and white and forces promotion, apology, or both. Even love obeys this rule. You can talk loyalty until dawn. One consistent act of integrity speaks louder than 1,000 midnight explanations. So what do you do? Stop explaining. Start demonstrating. Replace argument with visible proof. Trade debates for prototypes. Trade promises for delivered products. Set up small public victories, facts that cannot be argued away. Finish the project early. Launch the quiet pilot. Ship the feature that saves time. Let the scoreboard speak. Each win becomes a fact. Facts are unarguable. Let them rationalize. They will call you lucky because it's easier than admitting they were wrong. Let them. Their excuses are your applause. Real plays, sharpened and blunt. When skeptics mocked SpaceX, Musk didn't parry with rhetoric. He launched rockets. One ignition ended hundreds of arguments. When Jobs was exiled from Apple, he didn't beg for pity. He built. He returned as legend. When Jordan was cut from a high school team, he didn't plead. He trained. The results littered the record books. When a startup is rejected by investors, the best revenge is a profit chart. Numbers kill doubt faster than any email. Words divide energy. Half of you debates, half of you builds. When you stop talking and start executing, your energy becomes lethal. Focused, relentless, irrefutable, linking internal mastery to external domination. Discipline your hands and the world will obey them. Self-control turns intention into unassailable proof. When you make production a habit, institutions bend to your outputs. When you make silent, relentless work your creed, committees write new memos in your favor. Internal rigor converts into bargaining power, market share, and loyalty. Dominate your routine. Dominate the room. Dominate the ledger. Let others drown in meetings, memos, and martyrdoms of opinion. While they are still arguing, you will be 10 paces ahead with results on the table. Because the world does not remember who spoke the best. It remembers who moved the world. Arguments make noise. Action writes history. Do it. Don't argue it. Silence with results echoes louder than any voice ever could. Law 3. Quarantine. The cursed. Cut off the infected before they spread. Misfortune spreads like plague, and those who linger near it carry home the infection. Association transmits more than reputation. It transmits energy, mood, destiny. Spend too long among the defeated, and their failure becomes the air you breathe. Cut out the rotten limb before it poisons the whole body. Mercy has its place, but not in survival. Because not every cry for help is noble. Some are snares disguised as virtue tests. Every time you save someone drowning in their own habits, you step into their undertow. You pity. You rescue. You attach yourself to the doomed and mistake self-destruction for loyalty. Problem diagnosis. With contempt. You think compassion is strategy. Foolish. You think loyalty to weakness is moral. Pathetic. You imagine you can absorb another's poison and remain pure. Delusional. This is how mediocrity multiplies, through sentimental parasites who can't let go. The world is filled with martyrs to other people's failures. They call it kindness. It's cowardice wearing perfume. Loyalty to the wrong people is treason against yourself. Look around. The employee who covers for the incompetent ends up buried in blame. The good friend, who's always rescuing a chronic victim, becomes their next casualty. The lover who tries to heal a miserable partner eventually forgets how to smile. They don't plan to infect you, but they will, because emotion is airborne. Negativity multiplies faster than momentum. Machiavelli warned princes centuries ago, never allow yourself to be dragged into another's ruin. Good intentions do not cleanse the stain of association. Ruin is magnetic. The unlucky pull others in, using sympathy as a rope. When a ruler aligns with the failing, his people begin to doubt his judgment. The infection spreads from the throne outward. You see it daily in modern power. A company that partners with scandal taints its own brand overnight. An executive defending a collapsing division out of loyalty sinks beside it. A celebrity clinging to a toxic name watches their empire corrode in public. You don't have to fall to be seen as falling. You just have to stand too close. In personal life, the same rule bleeds through. Spend time with complainers, and complaint becomes your dialect. Surround yourself with the unlucky, and their worldview infects your faith in possibility. Soon you believe the system is rigged, the world is cruel, and progress is impossible. That's how infection spreads, through belief, not biology. The powerful treat proximity like radiation. They audit associations with surgical precision. They sense chaos and step back, quietly, coldly, without apology. They cut ties with chronic losers, with the talkers, the excuse makers, the emotional black holes. They rebrand away from toxicity, not with drama, but with decisive absence. When charity is necessary, they do it through distance, anonymous, structured, unentangled. They help without absorbing, because attachment to weakness is weakness disguised as virtue. Think of Warren Buffett's rule. Hang out with people better than you. Not richer, sharper, calmer, more disciplined. Direction, too, is contagious. Think of startups that severed failing partners before collapse. Cold, yes, but alive. Think of athletes who left poisonous entourages and began winning again. That is not luck. That is subtraction as strategy. You cannot rise while dragging those who kneel. You cannot heal while tethered to those who worship their wounds. Their misery will become your mirror. And one day you'll wake up wondering when their storm became your sky. Linking inner mastery to external domination. This law begins inside, with ruthless emotional hygiene. Guard your focus as you would guard a throne. Every association is an energy exchange, a contagion of vision or decay. When you master your boundaries, you master perception. When you curate your circle, you control your climate. And he who controls his environment controls the flow of fortune itself. Fortune infects. Misfortune too. Choose your company as if your life depended on it, because it does. Power isn't loud, it's patient. It's the silence that bends the room, the gaze that makes others move first. You've just learned the foundation of control, to command the hunt, to let results do the killing, and to cut off the infected before they spread. 3 laws. 1 architecture, attraction, proof, protection. The world calls it manipulation. The powerful call it discipline. Remember this. Those who chase, argue, or rescue serve. Those who wait, act, and detach rule. Power doesn't belong to the frantic. It belongs to the still. So before you leave, make your declaration. Type this in the comments. I move last. Because the one who moves last writes the outcome. Subscribe, not for motivation, but to train the muscle of strategy every single week. The next laws won't just change how you think, they'll change how others move around you. Until then, stay silent, stay patient, stay dangerous. That is the strategy.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.